Welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to cover all 22 Halo Infinite weapons so you will know exactly how each and every weapon works. The pros, the cons, all the details will be covered so you know exactly which weapons you should use to slay out and make Master Chief proud. Also remember guys, drop a like on the video to help me out and subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date on all of my Halo Infinite guides and videos that are gonna help you to be a better player. Just so you know, we will get in more depth and more detail with a Halo weapons tier list. Since there are 22 weapons, I'm going to try to make this quick. Just make sure you subscribe so you guys don't miss out on that later tier list in-depth video. Now getting into the specific weapons, we are going to start out with the battle rifle. This is a fan favorite and has been popular throughout Halo's lifespan. The BR is a 3-round burst precision weapon, but it can be highly effective at short, medium, and even longer ranges. If you're able to be accurate, you're able to kill an enemy in just 4 bursts, provided the last burst makes contact with the enemy's head. This is going to be a main point with a lot of these weapons. In Halo, you need to fully remove a player's shields before you can get a clean-up headshot, and it doesn't matter where the first 3 shots land. For instance, you could 4-round burst an enemy with a BR if you were to shoot them in the leg for 3 bursts and then finish them off with a headshot. So typically aim around that mid-chest level and then finish them off with a headshot on that 4th burst. Making its Halo Infinite weapon debut is the VK-47 Commando. It's a completely new UNSC weapon that sits between the assault rifle and battle rifle as a precision tactical rifle. It has a fully automatic fire mode and a 3x tactical optic, but a much slower fire rate and high recoil. With a pretty small 20-round magazine, the Commando is meant for accurate fire at medium range. Short control burst with the Commando can make it better at longer ranges, like a mini DMR, if you guys remember the DMR from previous Halos. Now, if you guys remember, the Covenant had a plasma rifle from previous games. The Pulse Carbine is very different in this one. The Carbine is now more like the BR battle rifle, making it more accurate at longer ranges, and it's got a burst fire to it. It's a little easier to handle without the gun overheating in your hand. The gun fires a 3-round burst that tracks target and is particularly effective at dropping shields, making it a very good weapon to pair with a straight damage dealer like a BR or a sidekick pistol. I did find that the Pulse Carbine has a slow bullet travel time a lot of the time at closer ranges. The shots can simply not connect to the moving target, so use this weapon at longer ranges to drop shields and switch to another weapon to clean up that kill. Now, the classic assault rifle, Halo's classic weapon, is also your default weapon and the gun you're likely to be using most often in quick play and big team battle. It's a straightforward assault rifle that's effective at close and medium ranges, dumping a lot of ammo on a target quickly. Now, at anything at longer than mid-range, the MA40 becomes pretty useless, but in close engagements, it's an effective gun for ripping apart an enemy's shield and finishing the job. I was shocked with how useful the AR is in this game. Don't be afraid to use this at closer ranges, and the sight on it is actually decent from close to close mid-range as well. Just don't stop firing when you're using this gun. Keep that right trigger pulled down. Triggers down all day, Spartans. The shock rifle is a electricity gun. It's an energy weapon that will chain off your initial target and hit nearby opponents as well. So if you can snipe into a group with the shock rifle, you might get some collateral damage or even kills. The shock rifle will kill an enemy in 1 shot to the head, but 3 shots are required to the body. You can also zap vehicles with the shock rifle, temporarily disabling them, making these electric-based shock weapons very useful. Now watch your targeting reticule for it to pulse a bit. That's how you know the shot is fully charged. The Sidekick is your standard issue pistol, and it's a good rangy addition to your loadout, allowing you to effectively hit targets a little bit further out than your MA40 AR can handle. The Sidekick can fire very quickly and do a fair amount of damage, and like the BR, it's great for picking up headshots on enemies whose shields are broken. By no means is this weapon as powerful as the Halo Combat Evolved pistol, but it seems to do the job and can actually kill a Spartan in 7 total hits if you make that last shot a headshot with the pistol. The Mangler's more or less Halo 3's Mauler and works roughly the same way. It's a pistol-like shotgun, making a good pairing with a longer range gun in your second weapon slot. The Mangler is actually an extremely valuable ranked and competitive weapon because you are able to eliminate an enemy with one single shot followed up by a melee. This thing has some crazy high melee damage, so use this thing just like a shotgun. Now, the plasma pistol works a lot like the plasma pistol from previous Halo games. The pistol itself can be something of a weak weapon. It fires fast, but its plasma rounds are slower than bullets, and while it's strong against shield, it does less damage once they're down than any other weapons. Just we all know that famous noob combo. You hold the charge of the plasma pistol and aim at your target, let go, and quickly switch to your battle rifle. As soon as the plasma pistol hits the target, their shields will be eliminated, and you can finish them off with a single headshot from a weapon like a BR. The Disruptor is another electricity gun, just like the shock rifle. It benefits from hitting targets that are bunched together. The gun's range isn't particularly long, but while it fires slowly, it's fully automatic, making it useful for firing into a crowd and maybe even a control point. The Disruptor will break a shield after about 3 hits on a Spartan, and at that point it'll start to do damage over time, preventing shield regeneration. And like the shock rifle, you can use this against vehicles, and this seems to be the best application of this gun. It can disable vehicles with 7 to 8 shots, briefly bringing it to a halt and preventing them from firing. This makes the Disruptor an excellent weapon at stopping those wasps or warthogs that are crippling your team. The Bulldog is a powerful shotgun, but not overly powerful. It'll take 2 to 3 shots with the gun to bring down an opponent at various closer ranges, making this actually one of the weakest shotguns of all the Halo games. In the plus column, the Bulldog is an automatic with a decently large drum magazine, so you can keep firing away until you get the job done, or I recommend pairing a close range shot with an immediate melee to quickly bring down your enemy. Now, a weapon that I like a little bit more is the Heatwave. This is a shrapnel launching weapon. It has 2 different firing modes. By default, it whips pellets in a straight horizontal line, allowing you to hit multiple targets at once. If you hit your aim button, you'll get a tighter vertical spread, which does a lot more damage but requires a lot more accuracy on your part. The Heatwave's pellets also over-penetrate targets and ricochet quite a bit, so try shooting around corners or in tight quarters with lots of targets. Although it is more difficult, the vertical fire rate is much better to rack up a single kill, so for the most part you want to click that aim down sight button to change the fire mode. Next up, we have the Sentinel Beam. The laser sported by the Sentinel robots on the Halo rings return into a more powerful form in Halo Infinite. The Sentinel Beam lets you lay down a constant stream of superheated death on a target, and like the Heatwave, the beam travels through targets. That means you can fire it through Spartans to hit other Spartans behind them, or blast the driver and gunner of a Warthog. Lining up the right angles can be tough in battle, but if you can catch enemies in narrow pathways, the Sentinel Beam can be very effective for taking out multiple enemies. The Needler is arguably Halo's most iconic weapon, and it shoots pointy pink crystal needles that stick in their target for minimum damage, then they explode. If you can get enough needles in a target, that target reliably dies, and the needles will track targets so long as your reticle turns red. This will help you to make sure that you're getting enough shots to land a kill. The Needler isn't especially effective in Halo Infinite, though the tracking is pretty weak. You'll need to stick at least half the needles of a magazine to get a kill. Like the AR, the S7 Sniper is basically untouched from past games. The gun has 2 levels of zoom and is incredibly powerful and accurate. A single headshot will drop a Spartan, while 2 body shots will do the job. There are only 4 rounds in the S7's magazine though, and not as many in the ammo reserves when you pick it up, so make sure those shots count. The weapon is also hit scan, so it's extremely easy to use, no leading of targets required, just point and click. The Skewer, on the other hand, is not hit scan. This is a cross between a rocket launcher and a sniper. It's one of the only few one-shot weapons in the game, but the good news is that hitting a Spartan anywhere with this one will put an end to them. It takes forever to reload. Its projectile will also drop as it flies, and then you'll also have to lead your targets as well. In the Cindershot, you get what's pretty close to a straight up grenade launcher. The gun's projectiles bounce and explode, so when firing from the hip, you'll want to try to aim short and bounce them towards the intended target. If you switch to the other aiming mode, the projectiles become guided missiles. They'll go where your crosshair points, so you can send them in a specific location. Just keep in mind that the Cindershot grenades go fast, so the guided alternative fire mode is best when you have some distance between you and your target, and the explosion is pretty large and powerful, so fire this thing in a group to wreak some havoc, and I think it actually brings targets towards the explosion with this weapon. Now the Ravanger is something of a plasma version of a grenade launcher. The Ravanger is a bit of a weird weapon. It fires a powerful 3-shot burst of plasma that arcs and falls, so you want to practice with this thing to avoid putting your shots right behind the legs of your Spartan targets. Charge up the Ravanger, which takes quite a bit, and you can fire a large blast that spreads burning plasma on whatever it hits, including the ground. This makes this incredibly useful in control points. Next up, we have the Hydra, which is an explosive firing mini rocket launcher firing fast, straight, explosive projectiles. The explosions aren't huge or as powerful as some other explosive guns, and it's best utilized by aiming at the feet of an enemy to try to catch them into the explosion. Switching the aim mode will help the projectiles to track targets, so you can use them a little more like missiles. The Hydra is great against vehicles and groups, provided you can accurately land your explosions near people. Note that it takes forever to reload, so have an effective weapon at the ready if you need to switch and keep firing. Now last but not least, Halo's 2-barreled rocket launcher is still one of the best in the business. The launcher is the biggest, most effective explosive launcher in the game, and a single rocket will wreck a vehicle and instantly kill anyone near the blast, which has a huge radius. You get 2 shots before you have to reload, but you won't get many rockets when you pick this power weapon up. You can aim and zoom with the rocket launcher. Also keep in mind, when you're in the ranked playlist, you will only get 2 rockets to use and you won't have any to reload. Now the Stalker rifle is more like the Carbine more than anything else. It fires fast, deals moderate damage, and gets the job done at pretty much any range. Your clips are measured by a gauge in the center of the screen, which slowly turns from white to yellow to red as you shoot. 7 shots causes it to overheat. Vent after the 6th shot, otherwise the process will take several seconds. Alright, that is my complete weapons guide for Halo Infinite. If you guys want to see more content, make sure you subscribe. Also like the video, and I will see you guys in the next video. I'm Grizzy, and I'm out. Peace.